right, here we go. In 3,
Are we sure?
2, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully the Audacity app is working. This is This Week in Sports. I'm your host, Jacko, and we are on the balcony of my sister's place, Naomi. She was kind enough to let us use her balcony as our studio. It's awesome having this mobile studio. We record a bunch of different places. Last week we were around the campfire. This week we are in the beautiful Edmonton River Valley, and a lot of stuff has happened this past week in sports, and we'll get to it all. Canada. Shout out to Canada. Give me some applause. Show the applause sign to our studio audience, which is actually behind. It always is behind the camera, the studio audience. We have a bunch of people waiting here, waiting to clap when they are told to. Team Canada wins gold in the World Juniors. The Blue Jays went off on the Yankees. And before we get to any of that, including This Week in Sports history, I have to get to something that has personally been something that I wanted to do for a long time, and that is getting my motorcycle license. And this past weekend, I went and got trained. So, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, audience. Sit down, take your seats. I've been talking about it for like 10 years, going to get my motorcycle license. But believe it or not, I never rode a motorbike in my life. So I went in there as a complete noob. But I went to the right course. I went to the exact right course that I needed to, because a lot of the people that I was there with, they had never been on a motorbike either. But it's something that you look at and you see people do it. You're like, I want to do that. And I always wanted to do it ever since I was a little kid. And for the last 10 years, I was saying, oh, I'm going to do it this year. Oh, no, I'm going to do it next. I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to do it this summer. Kept postponing it to the next fucking year, to the next year. And finally, this year, I went down to Alberta Safety, is where I went and did it. Alberta Safety Association, whatever the fuck it's called. And I paid them the amount of money it was for a 2.5 day course. There was like 22 hours. Most of which. Isn't that a basketball player from the 90s?
Yeah, John Mostovich.
Yeah, John Mostovich. Yeah. Most of the course was on the bike, and so I went from not knowing shit how to ride a bike, motorcycle, to being able to now, and I'm booking my road test this week in sports, motherfuckers. So I am stoked for that. Finally. I took the course, so they provide a bike to rent from the place that I took it, and I'm gonna go take a course, or take the test. Sorry, take the road test, the motorcycle road test this week. And oh my god, once it happens, man. But first, I had to pass a road test first, or not a road test, a written test. I had to pass the written part of it. I might do that this week. A lot of shit going on this week as far as work and whatnot. So I'm going to get to that as soon as possible. But the fact that I finally took this course and actually was able to learn how to ride a motorcycle. As you see one go down there. Caleb, every time I see motorcycles, I see them differently now.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. Like, it's like, because I understand how it works, and I understand kind of like how powerful they are, considering the ones that we were like training on were like just shit ones, right?
Well, the only weight they're carrying is you.
Yeah, and they're way heavier than I. And I kind of knew that, but being on one that was like 200 pounds or whatever, 250 pounds, which is small, you know, when you're talking about bikes, and still feeling that weight and controlling that, it gave me a new appreciation for the bikes on the road. And I always had respect for them. I always watched out for the motorcyclists, as anyone should on the road. It brought it to another level the amount of respect and understanding I had for them. And I am extremely excited to to get my license, man. I can't even fucking wait. I'm gonna get my license this year. The whole plan was to get my license this year and get a bike for next year. That was my plan for like the last 3 years. My plan for the last like fucking over 10 years was to get my motorcycle license. I finally did it. But my plan was to, when I do get my motorcycle license, if it's later in the summer as it is now, get the motorcycle license and then buy a bike in the fall when everything's cheap, right? When everyone's selling their bikes and whatnot, right? For the winter. Pick it up then, and then just have it for the following spring. And this is why I'm excited to get that new place. We're moving, Naomi, Caleb, the Jackos, we're moving into a crib. We're going to have a studio set up there. And that's another reason why I'm excited for this place, because I'll have hopefully have a garage. If we're getting a house like that, hopefully have a garage so I can put the bike in for the winter, right? And come springtime, I'll be able to cruise around and really practice my skills. And maybe teach you guys if you guys want to get your bike license.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, because it's actually not as hard as I thought it would be. But some of the maneuvers on it are the part you really, really have to practice, right? Like the operation of the actual bike isn't that difficult to learn, right? It's just brakes all on the right side, and your clutch and your gears on your left side. That's what it comes down to. And yeah, I went from like 3 days ago not knowing how to fucking ride a motorbike, never riding one in my life, to being able to do so and being able to pass a test. I'm confident in my ability to pass a road test on a motorbike now. Because I guess what it comes down to on the motorcycle road test is just it's more driving skills opposed to like motorcycle skills. Like as long as you know the rules of the road, you should be good. And as long as you're not like a fucking idiot driver, which there are plenty in this city, as we all know, everywhere for that matter. Like idiots can have their license, right? And that's what you have to be most concerned about on a motorbike. And they taught us everything. And I'm so fucking glad that I was able to finally get that training. And this upcoming week is going to be super, super. I'm excited for it because I'm going to get my license. And probably by next time I check in on this here podcast, I'll be a licensed motorbike driver, motherfuckers. Give me some love, audience. Like I have to say it. I'm not digging this audience out here. Like, the fuck, guys? Are you not feeling me?
Wake up.
Wake up. Oh, they're still sleeping. That was your cue, audience, but all good. In other news, the Blue Jays are killing it. But before we get to that, I want to obviously congratulate our kids here from Canada winning just down the street the World Junior Championship gold medal here in Rogers Place. Going through it all. Fucking A. Put your hands together. I was super busy the last little bit, and TSN doesn't have a PlayStation app, so I wasn't able to watch the gold medal game, but I watched the highlights. We won in overtime against Finland. Canada takes gold. In overtime, it was quite it was really a close game, and they took down Finland in overtime. And something that I got to bring up, and hope we have to make it happen. My boy Aaron, who worked with me over there at Remax, was working at Rogers for Hockey Canada, putting together some of their shit.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I really hope. Well, we will get him on the podcast. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to do it ASAP. Maybe the next episode, hopefully. Caleb, I'm gonna reach out to him. I think tonight, and see, because I know he's going back to do university games.
Right.
And we had a discussion about collabing in regards to a lot of things. So, yeah, maybe have him on next episode. But yeah, congrats to Canada. We fucking won gold as we do, right? Being the best hockey nation in the world. and we take the World Junior Hockey Gold. A big point of conversation when it comes to the World Juniors, obviously Team Canada or Hockey Canada being in that, being part of a scandal, I suppose you'd call it, where it was brought to light that Hockey Canada used a lot of the players' registration fees for a fund to defend sexual misconduct cases and such. So obviously that really affected the attendance at the World Hockey Championships. Not only normally it happens every Christmas, Caleb, or after it, the first game's on Boxing Day, and it leaks over to the New Year. It's right around there in winter, right?
Right.
This happened in the middle of the summer. Not only people are fucking enjoying their summer, but also Hockey Canada has all this shit going on. So attendance suffered because of that. And I mean, it looked packed in the lower bowl for the gold medal game, but in general, attendance was like way down. I think obviously mostly due to the allegations and all these things that have come to light. And they're not even allegations; they've been proven, and they're facts that Hockey Canada was using the players' money to defend some scumbags. It's fucked up. Yeah. The reason,
didn't hit it.
yeah. You didn't?
No.
Okay. The crowd, believe it or not, a bunch of scumbags in the crowd here. They were about to clap, but I was like, nope, no. Thankfully, Caleb hit the mute button on the crowd. No, but beyond all that shit, I mean, Team Canada won. The kids nowadays had nothing to do with that. But the thing about it is, I'll go on my fucking podcast and saying this. The culture in hockey, it's a known thing. It's usually rich white people that play it, and in my experience, rich white people are kind of douchey. I'll fucking say it right now. I'll say it in front of any white person. A lot of time,
they're on the douchey side.
yeah, they're on the douchey side, and fuck. I mean, if you're gonna, is this something I should get into? I don't know. It just, the culture in hockey has been very exclusive. It hasn't been inclusive for many years, and obviously, everyone involved that has a proper head on their shoulders is trying to change that. But mostly it's white dudes, mostly it's rich people, mostly it's like entitled people, maybe, probably, and because they have that mentality, they think maybe they can get away with a lot of shit. I don't want to get into too deep, but being a native dude and being the only guy with any pigment in his fucking skin on the ice rink, I've seen it myself, and that's just playing recreationally and shit. I could imagine. We've all heard stories about the native dude coming up through the ranks, the NHL player that finally made it, the NHL native dude, and talks about some of the shit experience he's had in junior. We always focus on the negative, and I hate doing that because that will shorten your life. But that happens. But I mean, obviously, way more positive shit happens. But as soon the quicker we get that negative shit out of it, and that stigma, and be more inclusive with this game of hockey, and it's hard to do that because equipment is so expensive, and the richest people in the world, well, at least this part of the world that play hockey, what color are they? Right, so it's kind of hard, but all in all, sports is an escape, and it should be that way. But some D-bags also play it. Thank God for the good people that play this fucking sport, or any sport, that made me feel welcome, give me the confidence to play. And I'm just talking about at a recreational level. But being the only fucking native, I guess I'm kind of used to that, being the only native dude anywhere I go. There's more black people around than native people around, the places I go. Right? Hockey rink. Fucking a restaurant. The restaurants I fancy. You know? I'm always the only native person wherever I fucking go, so I got used to it. and it's not even like a thing. I don't even really fucking care. But when it comes to hockey, though, and when you're going up through hockey, I can only imagine being someone that's different than anyone else. Hopefully that changes, and I really hope it does. And hopefully Hockey Canada stops. Well, obviously they're going to stop doing what they're doing, and they're more transparent with their funds, and we're able to move on from this shit. Because I mean, that's our sport here in Canada. It's hockey, even though I don't know, for some fucking reason, our national sport technically is lacrosse. Who the fuck watches lacrosse? We don't even have a lacrosse team here.
Does anyone have hockey as their national sport?
No. Oh no. Maybe in Europe, one of those small little dinky ass countries.
Like Sweden?
Maybe. Actually, I don't know. It might all be soccer over there. I don't know if they actually have like a national sport over there. That's just kind of like an advertising ploy, I feel. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just talking out of my ass there because I don't know. I don't even know what America's national sport is. They used to say baseball's America's national pastime, but football is way more popular than anything in North America. Right? The NFL is hella popular.
I bet you it's lacrosse too.
Yeah, right? Fucking squash or something. NFL starting soon though. Going back to the object at hand here. There's a couple things in NFL that happened. Who's yelling down there? Trying to record over here. All right, we have a guest here. He's right below us. Yo, up here. You want to be a guest on the podcast? You want to be a guest on my podcast? Because I'm recording it right now. And you're already a guest. We can already pick you up here. You want to say a few words? All right, here, I'll lower you the mic.
It's expensive. Be gentle with it. It only goes so long, so don't drink it. Don't drink it. Introduce yourself.
All right. This is Henry.
Henry, where are you from, Henry?
I'm from Edmonton.
You're from Edmonton?
Yeah.
What's your favorite sport?
Soccer.
Soccer. Oh, what do you watch? What's your league?
My league? La Liga.
Yeah, who's your favorite team?
All right, that was Henry on This Week in Sports. That's his name.
Ladies and gentlemen, Henry.
Yes, there you go. His favorite sport is soccer, actually. Isn't that what we were just talking about before I gave it to him?
Yeah.
The fact that, I don't even know what I was talking about. I lost my train of thought. NFL starting. There was something happening in NFL news here. Yes. So, Deshawn Watson. Have you heard about him?
I have heard of Deshawn.
Yeah. He got alleged by like 20 women of sexual misconduct and shit.
Deshawn, that's too many.
That's too many. That's too many to add up, right? So the NFL, I think we talked about this last podcast. They gave him initial suspension of like a handful of games, and then the NFL actually went back and they're like, he deserves more. So they ended up giving him more. They gave him 11 games and a $5 million fine. For going against their domestic violence policy or something, their sexual abuse policy, or one of their policies. So they fined him and they suspended him, and it was fucked up. When he talked to the media about it, he's like, I'm not even joking, he's like, I apologize to everyone, and I apologize to all women. It's like, whoa, that's quite the broad brush to paint. Pun intended there. Just like didn't even like go into specifics and
All of them.
yeah, right.
Oh, that's all of them because I promise I won't do it again.
So I mean, without getting too much into it, that's what happened there. I like how we went through NFL on this before even talking about the Blue Jays in depth. Blue Jays took it to the Yankees. They took a 3-4 in the Bronx, baby. And the Yankees are on the downslide. And anyone that knows me knows that you know, I do cheer for the Yankees, but I only cheer for the Yankees because my dad did, and my dad did because he watched baseball before the Blue Jays were even a thing. And the Blue Jays, when I grew up, were never in the playoffs. They were never in the playoffs until 2015. So I loved baseball so much that I needed a team to cheer for and to watch in October in playoffs.
And they have a good logo.
And they're pinstripes, man. They look fucking pimp, right? And they're one of the most iconic sports franchises in the world. And so I hopped on that wagon, and I don't know. I almost said I consider myself a Yankees fan, but being a Blue Jays diehard, it's hard to say that. I enjoy watching the Yankees. I was a Yankees fan when they were always in the playoffs and the Blue Jays were out, but I'm a diehard Blue Jays fan. Blue Jays took 3 of 4 from the Yankees in the Bronx. 2 of the games which I watched, and holy fuck, it was awesome. Alek Manoah damn near outpitched Garrett Cole. Alek Manoah, the rookie. Garrett Cole, the fucking 20-year veteran. And Alek Manoah hit Aaron Judge with a pitch, and the bench is almost cleared. And I guess Garrett Cole came out of the dugout and was like beaking at Alek. And Alec's just a rookie, right? Just a kid. But he's got the confidence through this swagger through the roof. And in the post-game interview, Alek was like, if Cole has a problem, he can walk past the Audi sign next time. And the Audi sign's like right on the red dugout side. He's like, you can bring it, right? So there's some animosity there. The stretch is going to be crazy, the MLB. I cannot wait. And the Blue Jays, it looks like they're kind of getting hot right now. But last time I talked about a baseball team getting hot at the right time, that didn't go well. So let's not put those words into my mouth. But we have, what is it, like 45, 50 games left. And we gotta be consistent. It's just a matter of that, and we have the team to do it. And the Yankees are like, they're on the downhill right now. They peaked. I think they peaked like too early. Obviously, they peaked like a month ago. They were like 30 games above 500 or some shit, like not even halfway through the season. And and now since then I think they've only won like, I seen some. They kept putting crazy stats on the social media pages I follow about how shitty the Yankees were. Like they went like 3 and like 12 in their last 15 or some shit like that. Like just straight shit to bed. And we were able to capitalize on their struggles. And so the AL East has become a lot tighter. And I just want to see the updated standings because the Blue Jays, as of the day that we're recording this, have the day off. We play the Red Sox coming up here. So we're tied with the Rays at 65 and 55. 8 games back of the Yankees. At one point, we were like 15. We had a crazy record, and we were 15 games back of the Yankees because they were just killing it. Now we brought that. We made that difference a little bit smaller, and we're only 8 games back now. And we have control of the wild card, so which is more than likely our way into the playoffs. So as long as we keep that going, we shall be all right. In other baseball news, Albert Pujols, the legend that is, fucking stand up, people. Give this guy's
who?
Pujols. So the hole that I put. No, I'm just kidding. Albert Pujols, he's one of the fucking legends, man. Give your head a shake. He's 42, and he's the first guy ever at that age to go 4 for 4 in a game and have 2 home runs. And he did that the other day, this past week in sports. And he's still giving her. I think he's at 692 career home runs. His chase for 700. Only 2 other players before him, or 3 other players, before him have hit 700 home runs, and he's looking to be the 4th. But he said this is his last year. So he does need 8 more in the last 40-some games to do that. It's going to be close. Could you imagine? Like, it's going to be like being on 699 with like a few games left. That'll be must-see TV if and when it gets that close. Hopefully he does, because I'm a huge
Pujols fan.
Pujols fan. Albert Pujols was one of my favorites. Even growing up, he's been playing for fucking holy shit, like more than 2/3 of my life. This guy's been playing. I remember in those games on N64, he was on those games.
No way.
Yes, way. As like a rookie.
Like Ken Griffey Jr.?
No, not that one, because that was late '90s. He was in like those early games on Xbox I had. MVP Baseball 2005,
Yeah.
where you could create your own stadium,
That was a fun game.
and they had their mini games, their arcade baseball games was the shit. And yeah, one of the best sports
They've
games.
never had it like that since.
No, of course not. I know it's sad. It's sad. MVP Baseball was one of the best games. Even if you look at like people that like rate games and review games, and if they go in the sports category, MVP Baseball is one of their highest rated ones and one of their all-time best, because shit, you could do everything in there. So yeah, hopefully Pujols can make that mark, get to that point. Just some hockey news. Nazem Kadri signed with the Flames down south. They lost a shit ton of their players. Johnny Gaudreau, we already talked about, he's gone. Sean Monahan, they traded away for nothing to get rid of the salary. One of their other fucking great or good players gone, and they replaced them with Nazem Kadri and whoever the fuck. So I seen a poll on I think it was Sportsnet or something, put it out and asked, are the Flames a better team than they were last year? I think that's a strong, hard, stiff no. People think they are. I don't think they are. Last year they were over a 100-point team. Gaudreau had over 100 points himself. I think we'll have an easier time with them this year, even though they did get a Stanley Cup champion on their team in Nazem Kadri. But I'm not too shook about that. Carey Price. Thanks for reminding me, Caleb. It's unfortunate. Sean Monahan was traded to the Canadiens from the Flames. So they obtained Sean Monahan, but there's bad news. Really, really, really bad news. Carey Price is not going to be starting this year in the NHL. He's had some really bad and really cumbersome knee injuries that have prevented him from playing a full 82 or full season in a couple of years here. And so their GM put it out this week in sports that Carey Price will not be starting for the year. And I think his name's Eric Angles, the Sportsnet reporter for Montreal Canadiens, reported that there's a possibility that, well, I guess the GM said it. There's a possibility that Carey Price may not play this season. So the era that is Carey Price may be over, and that's hella unfortunate. Best goalie, maybe of this generation. Unfortunately, no Stanley Cups to show for it. Gold medal though, and he always put on for the community. He was part Cree, and he always put on for the Indigenous people. And he had a hell of a career, highest paid goalie in history. And it sucks that he might be done. So you can't give him an applause because it might not be over. It might not be over. But I mean, when we started this, Caleb, this whole fucking podcast, he was the man. Remember, a year ago, he was the guy that was bringing Canadians all the way to the finals, right? And I was gonna go to Montreal. So much love for him. Hopefully there's some good news in the next few months. Before we get to this week in sports history, I know I don't talk a lot or too much about CFL, but the Edmonton Elks, we finally got stringing some wins. I don't know. We got 3 wins this year. We have more wins already this year than we had last year. I know it's sad. We beat the Red Blacks 30-12 this week in sports. I don't know. We're still at the bottom bottom of the division. There's not much there. Winnipeg is killing it. I think Winnipeg went 10-0 or some shit. So
This is a rebuilding year.
yeah, exactly. Just some other quick notes before this week in sports history. LeBron ended up signing a 2-year, get this, $97.1 million contract extension. So that's almost $50 million a year with the Lakers. And he has a player option for 24-25.
$50 million is what it costs per episode for the new Lord of the Rings show.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a recommendation too. That new Lord of the Rings is coming out. Hopefully it's good.
Second.
Hopefully it's good. Because if it's not good, then I don't like recommending shit. I had a couple of I always have recommendations that I want to make on the podcast. I just forget them when it comes to recording. But that's something we should write down. Having recs for people.
There's a lot of shows on this fall, like so many.
Oh, Obi-Wan's the behind the scenes is coming out too of Obi-Wan.
Also, Andor's coming out next month.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty next season's coming out. Game of Thrones just premiered. Obviously, Lord of the Rings. She-Hulk is still going.
Oh, so there you go. So there's just a couple other stats here that I want to, or a couple pieces of news that I want to touch on before TWIS. Joey Votto. This is where the crowd gets up and claps. Joey Votto, he has most games in the MLB as a Canadian. He passed, who was it? I think it was, what the fuck is his name? Larry Walker. And he's pushing on 2,000 career games. He has 1,989 to pass and to become number one as far as games played for Canadians. So give him some love, people. Okay. 500 hits by Vladdy Guerrero this past week and this week in sports history. So we give Votto some love. We don't give any to Vladdy. Fuck you, crowd. 500 hits. He's only 23 years old. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is the youngest player to reach 500 hits as a Blue Jay in history. Give him some love. 11 years ago, this week in sports history, I went skydiving for the first time. Fucking amazing. That was in August of 2011.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. What? How many? 11 years ago. Oh my god. And 11 years ago, I was saying I want to get licensed, and I'm going to get licensed to be a skydiver. I've went since.
11 years ago, I was an adult, living my life. How can you say that?
Fuck. And also, 3 years ago, is that what it was? 3 years ago, I went to Vancouver, and when I went to Seattle. That's where that water story came from. I'm not going to tell it again because I've already told it. Got kicked out of stadium for yelling water, snuck back in, and yelled water again. But that week in sports history, when I flew to Vancouver, and then we drove down to Seattle and then drove back. But I had a 11-hour delay at the Edmonton International Airport. This was right after. Believe it or not, it's been over 3 years since marijuana has been legal. I was rolling joints at the airport bar, on the airport bar. And they let me leave my bags at the bar and go smoke outside. And so I could come back through security quicker without any bags, right? It was meant that the fact that they were able to do that, but it was super shitty because I got an 11-hour delay. And you know what fucking airline it was? It was Flair Airlines. They had cheap flights, but I don't know. But, yeah, that was This Week in Sports. I have to go use the washroom. That's why I'm kind of jittery right now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for my producer, Caleb. Thanks for my sister, Naomi. And I can't wait to get a new crib because we'll have a studio set up. We'll have it all fucking mint. And I'm looking forward to the next episode because we'll have something else going on. Thanks for listening. Tell your friends, share, even though no one will. I'll share it, so you guys are good. But, yeah, no, if you're listening to this far, you are the shit. Thank you. Peace.